I apologize about the bed beard. It just is what it is. Hope everybody's doing good today. Recorded the show last night. We had a special guest host on. We had Becca Yassine with us. It was great having her on. And you know, I gotta tell you guys, I'm going home right now. I just dropped off my youngest. I'm on my way out, and so in 200, this episode coming is 222. So it took over 200 episodes for me to forget to hit the record button. Now all is not lost because of the jig heads, thank goodness. So let me explain. Our jig heads are essentially, that's our name for our following on Patreon, and these are the folks that subscribe to the show. They get early access to the show and the ability to engage on a live stream that is unlisted. It's on YouTube, and we've been utilizing the YouTube platform. Actually, that was really the reason that we got into YouTube to begin with, was to, you know, be able to have a spot where we could put the live stream show for those subscribers that wanted to get the show at, you know, be a part of it by commenting and all that stuff. And we love that part of it. So, you know, part of this is that I record the video using StreamYard. So I'm able to download that audio and then cut up what I need and do that. So there will be like, I'm hoping it's not as much as, but about 30 minutes of the first segment where the audio is definitely going to sound a little bit different than the rest of the show. And unfortunately, last night was one of those nights where the internet was not super cooperative. We had a couple of dropouts here and there. We tried to fix them up real nice. So, you know, so the final product that will be coming out there is going to be that audio for the first 30 minutes. But, you know, once I realized it and figured out what was going on, I hit record quick. But, yeah, I looked down and that little green button was staring at me, and I was like, you're supposed to be red. What's going on? And I realized that I went live and I just never started recording. So, hey, there we go. But I'll say it took over 200 episodes for that to happen. That's not a bad thing. I want to say maybe something similar had happened before, but I think it was like an actual local record failure. Like there was a problem with the file when I recorded it. I don't think that it was just a, hey, dummy, you forgot to record this. Because sometimes that happens. You know, I'm going to go this way. I'm just going to go straight across. Yeah, it was a good episode, man. It was a great conversation. It was great to have Becca on. She got to address the changing of her YouTube channel name. And also we got to catch up with, like, how are things going post Guggen? You know, how is her experience been, you know, parting ways with a major sponsor like that, and what it's been like. And it sounds like it's been pretty fantastic. She had an amazing trip visiting some family up in Canada, which is freaking awesome, man. I'm telling you, dude, that girl is going places. She's got some crazy stuff going on. But this week's episode is awesome, man. This is an episode where we're just female anglers all over the place, because we've got Becca guest hosting, but we've also got Conti. Now, if you don't know who Caitlin Conti is, Caitlin is, she's on YouTube. She's also on TikTok and on Instagram. She has a monster following on those two platforms. She's the stream queen. And Caitlin's primary target species is steelhead, specifically in the Erie, Pennsylvania area. She fishes there routinely. There's some other, I think she's done some saltwater stuff she had mentioned in the interview, but we've got a great interview with her, and it is awesome. And this is, for me, I was a little starstruck. You know, I don't really get like this a whole lot, you know, with a lot of the content creators and stuff. But Caitlin has a rod that has her name, her logo, the Stream Queen logo on it, that you could go and buy at like Bass Pro right now. Yeah, assuming it's in stock. but it's available. Bass Pro Cabela's. You could go and find this in here, and it's pretty awesome. I say that she fishes for steelhead in Erie, and she is not a fly angler at all. She fishes conventional tackle. She fishes a bunch of different presentations, and I love that. And she gets into it and gets kind of crazy. Like, check out some of her videos on YouTube. And it's staying all over the place. So it's good stuff. But yeah, we had a good one. We talk about hype songs in this week's episode, in segment number 2. We discussed, a few weeks ago, and I forget which guest it was, but somebody had talked about there being a song that, like, whenever they're rolling up to the ramp, they, fire that one up in the truck as they're backing the boat into the water, and it just kind of sets the tone. And it got me thinking, I'm like, song that kind of says so much about different anglers, about, just different personalities. And I had asked Joe what his hype song would be. He had submitted one immediately, knew it like right off the bat. This is all via text message. And then last night when we were recording, he retracted it and went with another one, which I totally can understand. I had one and I picked mine immediately as well. And that only just comes from me, I think, being a DJ, and just music to me, it's like I have the ability to not get too attached to individual songs and just immediately plug one in, because while there are so many that I could choose, and I can choose a different hype song like every week easily, and there are some that have more sentimental value to me. I went with like something that was like buzzing right now. My hype song was $1 Million Baby from Tommy Richmond, and I just think it fits perfectly for my vibe, especially lately. So it was really good. So then I extended this, and I went and I asked a bunch of past guests, and I know I didn't get to everybody, and I'll get to more and more of you as I'm in communication with you and with current guests too. One of my blanket questions that I'm going to want to know is, what is your hype song? Like, let's say you're being introduced at the Bassmaster Classic. What is yours? If you're watching this live right now, throw it in the comments. What would your hype song be? If you're like at the Bassmaster Classic or somehow like some major event like that, and you're being honored for your fishing abilities in that way, and they announce you, what is the song that you think that they should play as you're making your way up to that stage? We had some really good ones. Debo had given us, well, I knew he was going this route. Debo had put, and I'm talking about the YouTubers specifically because I'm on the platform right now, and I know that you guys will, there may be more familiarity with these names. You might be able to relate to them. So Debo had chosen a Slipknot song, which I knew he was going to choose. But of course, that makes perfect sense. Band from Iowa. Debo loves metal, and he chose Psychosocial. Who else did we have on that chose a really good one? Oh, Becca chose a Nicki Minaj song. What is it? Oh, what is the name of them? Something on them. I forget the name of it offhand. But she chose a Nicki Minaj song, Something on them. She has the line, there's a line in there. She goes, specifically for this line, she goes, if I had a dick, I would pull it out and piss on him. You're all right, Becca. You're all right, Becca. You're weird, but you're all right, Becca. What else did we have for other YouTubers that it's, this is a good one too. Jeff and Paul over at Aggressively Average Anglers. We've had them on the show in the past. And I think it was Paul that threw this one out there quick. But he said everybody, Backstreet's back from the Backstreet Boys. And I told him straight up, I was like, I respect that. I'm putting the extended mix on there because I think it warrants it. So I did. And I started a little Spotify playlist here. And We've had a bunch of different hosts. We've had Chris Mellowship from Abe Lure Lab had submitted some. Some other folks, and the vast majority of people I've reached out to have taken days to like think about this and say like, I'm not sure. Delirious Angler had submitted Dysfunctional from Tech9. Who else had submitted some stuff? My buddy Paul. Who we got in here? Linda Duff says hi. How we doing, Linda Duff? Hope you're having a great morning. Getting excited too about the slot limit tournament coming up at the end of the month. Really getting excited about that. We have June 29th on the calendar. We have a bunch of folks that are going and they're trying to catch fish, largemouth and smallmouth bass that are within the window, basically any black bass that are within the slot window of the minimum being 12 inches, the maximum being 17. And this is to keep a nice little level playing field for the entire country. You know, go and catch as many as you can within that slot limit and win yourself some cash. I will say, last year we did this, and this year we're doing it twice. We're doing it once here and then once in September. In fact, while I'm thinking about future tournament events on Fishing Chaos, I have to get in there and create a bunch of events, and that should really happen this week. Specifically, July scavenger hunt has to get done, but I'd like to get all the way into September and October if I can, and just kind of set them all up so that we're ready to rock. But that's going on June 29th. It's a $30 entry fee, and we are doing the same payout structure that we normally do. So our top, if we end up, if we only have, I think, 20 anglers, I think first and second place are what are gonna, 10 anglers, it's first and second place that are gonna take checks. 20 anglers, we get into third. 30 anglers, we get into fourth, or it might even be fourth and fifth at that point. Like, it's a good pay structure. So we add more payouts, the more people participate. And, we get to these higher levels, where we don't cross that threshold. That pot can get pretty big, especially for first and second place. But we get enough people, and the payouts, it gets pretty awesome, man. Scavenger hunt's been going great. That was a big bump. Scavenger hunt's been going really great. I've been struggling this month. I went out, I got a good video dropping on, I think I'm going to drop it on Wednesday or Thursday. I went out on Saturday, ended up doing 2 different sends, one in the yak, one on the bank. In the bank, it was a night send, so I didn't really record much for on the water or anything like that. But it's a good little video. It really is. I've been really liking the combination of on the water footage with that vlog style. I think that works really, really well. I got a couple other elements I'm looking to bring into the fold. But yeah, it's been really good. There's a couple of good fish catches that are in there. There's also a lot of rando multi-species. None of the multi-species that I was looking for, however, which was kind of a letdown right there. And in this week's show, I actually talk about something with Joe that I think is really kind of often overlooked. There's 2 reasons why we fish. There's, the obvious one is the fish. We're there to catch fish. We want to go out, we want to catch fish. We are either, looking at that as a source of, recreation and a fun activity to do, to get outdoors. We might be competing in a tournament situation or something like that. Or we might just be out there, trying to track our progress personally, and not necessarily in a competition setting, but, we're out there catching fish and we're documenting, our records that we have, for different species of personal bests or different states, or, exploring different water. There's a million reasons. But like I said, primarily I lump that all in with you're fishing for the fish. And then the other one is that social element where, and I think my buddy Paul put it the best on Saturday when we were fishing. He was like, dude, he's like, some people have different hobbies and different ways of going and spending time and socializing and stuff. And he's like, we fish. That's what we do. And I'm like, that is very true. And I think that I kind of forget that sometimes. And I don't just go out just for the sake of, having fun necessarily. Like, I'm always looking for people to fish with and all that. And that's just because I enjoy company, really. But like, a good example is like when I'm in the kayak and I go out and I fish with somebody, we're not fishing right next to one another, bullshitting the entire time. We're out there to catch them. And especially in kayaks, we're going to go whichever ways we've got to go in order to find them. And in some cases, I'm looking for different species than, the other person, or I would be trying a different tactic or something that requires me to be on different structure. So in the kayaks, it's very easy to split up. When you're fishing in a boat together, it's a little bit of a different animal. You really do get to combine those things. That brings me to my next point. A boat is happening. A boat is happening. And you guys are going to hear about my experience so far in the used boat market. And it does sound like a really, really great thing. But in reality, it's been a grind. Like, Facebook Marketplace is a cesspool. It is just the worst. I've got a checklist of things that I'm looking for in a boat, and I'm starting to realize that I think the best move is to maybe consider something new. I don't need anything that's like rigged out, rigged to the teeth or anything like that. I really don't. There's a little something in the works that we'll talk more about later that involves rigging and some custom stuff. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm looking for a real like base level model, something like that. And I'm like, some of these loans are like 15-year loans, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I keeps payments really low and manageable. Something I could do. Like, do I want to have that loan for 15 years? No, but I could double up some payments and get it done quicker. We'll see what we can do, though. It's one of those ideas. So I'm looking around. The biggest issue with that I'm thinking of is inventory. Am I going to be able to get my hands on said boat? But again, the journey, is going to be content for all of you guys, and that's the whole thing. So if it means that I need to go, and go to a crazy part of the country in order to get this vessel, then so be it. It means that's what I have to do. So I'll be, I'll take it on the road. We'll go a little bit of a road trip. We'll go pick up the boat. We'll give it a shot. We'll try it out. I'm really looking to try to set this up as minimally as possible because the plans for the future are pretty amazing. I'm just gonna leave that at that. Yeah, good stuff, guys. This was really great. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep those comments, and definitely comment your hype song. Like, what would your hype song be? And for those that are curious, yes, I absolutely am planning on taking this information of a list of hype songs and making some music trivia rounds of Name That Tune. One of which maybe holding at the party of the Susquehanna, the Susquehanna event for the Kayak Adventure Series. And I had a conversation with, who was up there? Who was I talking with last night? And it was our past guest, Nick DeShane. He was at Whitehall, and he was telling me, he goes, that tournament series really is focused on the community and the fellowship and the camaraderie and all that. He's like, it's a big party. It's really not just a super serious tournament. Like, it's a go and party and celebrate with, a bunch of folks, doing the activity that you love doing the most, and that's fishing and fishing out of little plastic boats and catching absolute giants. So who knows? It should be interesting. And of course, last night had a conversation with Joe Brown, And he's like, I kind of want to go to that, man. You know, and he's not a kayak guy. Actually, he doesn't have a kayak. And my kayak for the Susquehanna is not an ideal boat. It really, really is not an ideal boat. My boat is enormous and is not great necessarily in moderate current. And depending on conditions, it can be sketch. So I had some thoughts about maybe a power pole. I could get to a spot and lock it down, and then just, you know, fish the hell out of that spot really, really well, and then go and position myself in another spot that would help out. You know, I'm just not sure right now with that. But then Joe made the suggestion. He was like, well, if you're thinking about going in and hosting the trivia, and then, you know, just like not fishing or doing bank sends or something, he goes, maybe I'll take the boat down and we'll go and we'll send it there. I'm not against that either, but who knows? But yeah, leave your hype songs in the comments, guys, and let me know what you would choose if you were being announced at a major tournament event. We'll see you guys.